Formed in 1879 from Belfast's Catholic community, Cliftonville are Ireland's oldest club, and along with Unionist Linfield, were one of 8 founder members of the Irish Football League in 1890. As the nation divided in 1921, so did the leagues. First came a Northern Ireland League, and to the south, a League of Ireland. 30 years of division on Belfast streets and on the terraces. Throughout this time, Linfield were unable to travel to Cliftonville's Solitude ground. All meetings between them took place at Linfield's National Stadium, Windsor Park. Tensions were strained between the clubs, and when Tommy MacDonald became one of the first players to leave Catholic Cliftonville with Protestant Linfield, relations were certainly difficult.
I was one of the second or third people to move maybe that direction. It was different name time, sort of slightly. I think it's a wee bit different nowadays, you know. I did get a little bit of stick from certain members of the public. I think it was a coin move, you know, I got hit in the head, but I think it just looked worse than what it was, you know. I put a big turban in my head and it's in a wee neck.
Conor Downey has now followed in MacDonald's footsteps, leaving Cliftonville for Linfield earlier this year. But a sign of how far things have come is that Downey still lives in the heart of Cliftonville's fan base and can even walk down the staunchly Republican Falls Road in Linfield's colours.
At the end of the day, it's all about the football, and that's all that matters. You know, I mean, like I'm down in Linfield now. There's Catholics and Protestants together, and all that matters is doing well for Linfield and just playing the game.
Football has played a huge part in healing the wounds between the two communities, and in 1998, a historic moment as Cliftonville welcomed Linfield back to Solitude for the first time since 1966.
As someone who has been at this club since 7 years of age, I'm very proud of Cliftonville Football Club, and I'm also very proud to see the big change that have taken place in Irish League football. I've always said that sport and politics should not mix, and I think it's now wonderful that there's actually a tremendous spirit between Cliftonville and Linfield. And don't forget, Windsor Park was our venue for 27 years, believe it or not, when we were unable to play Linfield here. So it's tremendous that not only have we Linfield back, but we've Linfield back for a night match under floodlights in the first televised game in Sky.
Tommy Breslin, Eddie Patterson is serving a match suspension. Has he any special instructions ahead of tonight's game?
Eddie always has special instructions, but you know, as I say, we've prepared for this match. You know, since last Tuesday night's match finished, we're on Saturday. We had a good training session, and the boys know what's expected, and hopefully they'll be able to carry that out. Confidence
should be high. You defeated Linfield last week.
Yeah, you know, we're always high. You know, we always think that if we play well, we'll win. Having said that, you know, Linfield are the champions, and they're not champions for no reason. So, you know, as I say, it'll be a good, tough encounter, and hopefully we'll acquit ourselves well, and hopefully come quarter to 10, 9:30, quarter to 10, we'll have 3 points.
Third last year, title aspirations start now?
Well, yeah, as I say, we want to go out and win every match we play. You know, and we'll see where that takes us. Last year we had a good season. The second year's always, we know it's always, the second year's always the hardest. So hopefully we'll aim to improve on what we did last year.
David Jeffrey, a 2-2 draw. Your thoughts on that?
I thought first half, got to be fair, Cliftonville were probably the better side. I was a wee bit disappointed with our lads, but we talked about a few things at half time, discussed one or two matters, and was much more satisfied with the second half performance. Absolutely gutted with the 2 goals that we conceded. Balls were travelling 60 yards, and really they should have been dealt with much better. But I think when you reflect on the game overall, it was a good first one for Sky. Hopefully the people at home have enjoyed it. Certainly it was a lot of effort, a lot of endeavour. Not very good for the heart. I'm going to book a place in the Royal Victoria Hospital now, but disappointed in some ways.
Well, certainly Linfield had several scoring chances. Disappointed just only scored 2.
Yeah, well, we had chances. There's no doubt about it, with a couple of great headers. Their goalkeeper, John Conley, made a couple of good saves, and on other occasions we could have maybe finished a little bit better. I think the frustrating thing is when you come away from home and you score 2 goals and you expect to win a game, and when we score even 1 goal, then we don't expect to concede. And as I say, the most disappointing thing for me tonight is just the manner in which we conceded the 2 goals. But overall, I suppose if you reflect a point away from home at a very difficult venue, must be satisfied.
You're defending champions, David. Do you see a stiff challenge coming from Cliftonville this season?
Yes, there's no doubt. I said that last year, you know, and they're progressing all of the time, and Edward Patterson has put together a fantastic side, and you can see the work rate on the endeavour. So they're going to sort of put an awful lot up to us this year.
Thanks, David.
Hey, let's get some Cliftonville reaction, shall we? Tommy Breslin is with Thomas Niblock.
Tommy, a 2-2 draw. Content?
Well, content. I think we bossed the first half. Maybe should have been 1 or 2 in front. We weren't. Boys showed great character, so in the end a draw was probably a fair result.
You must be delighted at the way Cliftonville came back into the game, behind twice.
Yeah, as I say, the boys never cease to amaze me. They've shown tonight that they've got character against one of the best, the best team in the league. So, as I say, a draw, everything to play for.
Will the manager be happy with that performance?
Well, he'd be happy, at the end, but coming, 2-1 down. But really, the manager should be here. But unfortunately, rules and regulations or whatever prevented him from being here. And as I say, the boys, part of the performance tonight, the boys, it was for Eddie.
And quickly, one word, are Cliftonville under the shout for the title this season?
Are they under the shout? As I say, we're not going to, publicise as being league winners, this, that or the other. But, yes, we'll give it a shout, and we aim to improve on last year.
Thanks, Tommy.
All right.
Heart is in my mouth as I turn my face away, and I walk down the deserted streets, desolate and grey. Nothing more to say, whispering your name under winter skies, imprisoned by the thought of you, captured by your eyes.